Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to a rare sight, the Tiger P. No, not the premium Befehlswagen Tiger P, not the Tiger 2P, but in fact the early model Tiger hull that was later modified into the Ferdinand and Elephant tank destroyers. This time, one of the few models that received a turret and takes its place in the game of War Thunder as an extremely rare vehicle. This heavy tank with the familiar drivetrain of the premium version that you can find for Golden Eagles at rank 4 in the German tech tree. A delightful, heavily armored heavy tank for the Germans. However, this vehicle, you know what, it hits fairly hard, doesn't it? But the armor is something of a weak point. People already not satisfied with the armor of the Tiger heavy tank, being that it's so flat and only 100 millimeters. With the amount of cannons that can punch through your armor from the front, it really plays more like a medium tank, and that feature is actually accentuated in the Tiger P because you don't get the extra add-on 100 millimeter plates on your frontal slopes that you have with the Befehlswagen Premium. I think this Tiger P is also a premium vehicle, though I think it would be called a rare event vehicle. I'm not sure if it's available on the marketplace, and I haven't asked Wagner Valkyrie where he got his hands on this one. I'll have to do that. In any event, he's given me a hands-on replay where he does fairly well. And again, this is a somewhat sluggish heavy tank that you really want to play as a medium, which means that it's not really a meta vehicle in the game of War Thunder. However, with a good reverse rate and fantastic post-penetration effect on your cannon, as well as, I believe, this tank also sits now at a 5.3, so a competitive battle rating, if not an overpowered one, gives you the opportunity, especially as a skilled player of War Thunder, to make some things happen in a very rare vehicle that is not going to be meta anytime soon. I think the Tiger has sort of seen its day in the sun in the game of War Thunder, and now it is a very fun and rewarding vehicle for experienced players, but by no means the monster that it had the potential to be back in the day. In any event, Wagner Valkyrie playing carefully, playing well here, getting side shots on enemy vehicles, not getting in a head-on engagement with his foes, which is always an advantageous position to be in, getting a angled shot on the M18 Hellcat, taking it down with what would be a hull break, and also happened to have killed, I think, all of the crew in one shot. I did mention that this vehicle has some good post-pen effect, once again demonstrated, even punching through the very thin side armor of that second Hellcat. The round detonated to great effect, as you saw. Killing things with one hit is not an issue with Tiger in general, and this is something that the Tiger P also enjoys, and yet occasionally you can face armor that's tricky to punch through, but in general the Tiger has one of the more reliable guns in War Thunder, which again helps out with the playstyle for this so-called heavy tank. You know why we didn't punch through that side armor on the, I'm not sure if that was the premium T21, I think it was. I'm not quite sure. But this is at a time in War Thunder when hit detection was at an all-time low. There have been some improvements, I think, to the net code to help fix that issue. But look at the beautiful high angle punch through on the turret of that Sherman, taking down all the crew in one shot. We're seeing a lot of one-shot kills here, and I am just absolutely thrilled at this opportunity to show off to all of you one of the most rare tanks in the game. I've rarely seen the Tiger P in matches. It might be in the hands of more players than something like the German Sherman, but I haven't seen it in a match as far as I can remember, maybe once or twice in the whole history of playing War Thunder, which for me has been a while. Now, having taken down a good number of enemies, Wagner Valkyrie takes one into, looks like, was that the engine compartment or the turret? Not quite sure, but it did set a fire in one of the fuel tanks, leaving Valkyrie enough mobility to exit a bad situation. And ladies, if they're beating on you, you just gotta go. Take the kids and go. And a light tank here. It looks like what's that? The Panzer IIH? I can't remember. It's the premium Scout Panzer with the 50mm high velocity gun. That's a lot of fun. Load APCR and go yeet on some high tier boys. But it's almost a German, ASU 57. Almost, I say. It's not quite that stealthy, it's not quite that punchy, but it does have a turret, and it is one of the most adorable tanks in War Thunder, proportions-wise. It's blocky, it's squat, it's about as wide as it is long, and yes, I am still talking about that Panzer. And that's going to just about do it for the Special Tiger. Now, another treat especial. I talked about an incredible replay that Desolator sent to me, where he just absolutely devastates the world in his FJ4B VMF, and I have procured that portion of his replay for you here. He did some fantastic gameplay in some other vehicles, and he played very nicely, but a 1-2 punch, taking down 2 radar-guided SPAA like it's nothing. And that is a beautiful start to a flyout in a match that's already been very successful for him, as I mentioned. The entire replay is worth watching, but it's very similar to a replay that I've already featured with Desolator that actually took place later. I just made it a point to show that one to you all right away. One thing to note about all of the replay videos that I do end up making is that they're only a portion of the replays that are sent in to me. Sometimes I don't manage to record a replay before the game gets updated. One day I got sent 3 replays, and the very same day there was an update to the game, and so those were just immediately lost because I didn't find the time to record those. And then other times I'll just not find the time in my life to do the voiceover commentary, and that is sort of the rub right now. There's just no free time left in my life. I'm a full-time stay-at-home dad, and that might seem like I have free time, but I really don't, because I have to be like secret police, teacher, emergency response personnel, and a few other things all wrapped into one for these 2 girls that I get to be the dad of. And then when my wife gets home, she's super tired, especially now. She works at the post office, and during the Christmas season, which starts as soon as Halloween is over, just so you know, here in the US, we love our Christmas merchandising. And the busyness of the post office just goes through the roof in these days, so she's just exhausted. Add to that as I've mentioned, it's way too early to tell people, but I can't help it anyway. She's pregnant. We're gonna have another baby if everything works out, and man, I really hope things work out. I can't wait to work myself to death loving 3 kids, but that's gonna be something else. But how about this flyout by Desolator, absolutely devastating the enemy team? And another thing to notice is the FJ4B just has such a gorgeous set of air brakes. I think it looks really cool, really aggressive. It just overall, it's a nice looking jet fighter. It's not the most competitive against other jets at its battle rating. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. But man, can it do some neat things in mixed battles, and that's exactly what Desolator showed us today. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.